Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. Of course, this is the Arsenal Total Access Show every single evening from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are always here discussing Arsenal, especially the biggest stories around the club. Now, Edu has been speaking to the media after the London Awards. We're going to be talking about the London Awards, of course. We did talk about them in the morning and the Arsenal morning drive. We'll be talking about the London Awards and see whether you guys are still very, very if you're in the know, by the way, especially if you're in the know. But then also, Edu says that we are planning to win. We are planning to win as Arsenal, and we want to win almost everything there is possible. And that's where the question is coming in from in this Total Access Show tonight. The question is, what trophies do you think Arsenal should win in the next 6 years, right? What trophies do you want Arsenal to badly win in the next 6 years? That is my question for you in the comment box below. Get involved in the chat. We've not seen the UEFA Champions League at Arsenal. You've not seen the Europa League yet at Arsenal. We have not seen the Premier League in 18 years. We have not seen the FA Cup in 4 years. And we have not seen the Carabao Cup stroke, the Carling Cup, or the League Cup, actually, if you want to call it that way. For more than a decade, actually, Arsenal have not won the League Cup. Okay, so which trophies do you badly want Arsenal to win? Is it the Champions League for you? Is it the Premier League for you? Is it the Europa League? I'm gonna tell you right something very interesting here before we even go on. I would love Arsenal to win the Champions League before we win the Premier League. Now, if we win it this season, that means it's never going to happen. But I would love Arsenal to win the Champions League before we win the Premier League. I want to stop all this Chelsea nonsense. Oh, London is blue because we have two Champions League titles. You guys have never won the Champions League. I badly want Arsenal to win the Champions League. If there is one thing Arsenal should do for me, go out there, win the UEFA Champions League. Actually, I want two Champions League titles so that Chelsea do not have anything to tell us. They're both the UEFA Champions League under Roman Abramovich. That era is now gone, and I'm very sure they won't win it this season. I'm very, very sure. I can bet my money, right? So let me know in the comment box below, which trophies do you think Arsenal should win in the next years, in the next 6 years? Trophies that you feel those are the key ones, right? Those are the real deal for you. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Of course, type good evening in the chat if you're watching it from Africa. Most of the African countries, it's an evening. So let me know where you're watching from. If you're in Africa, if you're watching in Europe, probably it's not evening. Probably it's Actually, I think it's evening as well. So let me know where you're watching from, the time zone. What have you eaten for dinner as well? Because I have just finished eating my dinner and I ate chicken. Exactly. I ate chicken, and that's where the energy is actually coming from, right? So let's get into it. Of course, yesterday in the evening or yesterday night, we did have the London Football Awards where Arsenal absolutely cleaned everything on the table. Martin Odegaard winning a Player of the Year in those awards. Saka, Young Player of the Year. Aaron Ramsdale winning Goalkeeper of the Year, and Mikel Arteta winning Manager of the Year in the London Football Awards. So Arsenal literally we cleaned the place, and I'm gonna tell you this, right? I think for the next 5-6 years, just like Chelsea have been when Arsenal have been on the low, for the next 5-6 years, we might see Arsenal dominate a lot in these awards. Because first and foremost, they are for clubs only that come from London. And Chelsea, I think they will really, really struggle next season. Many people think that Chelsea will be back by next season, but I think they will struggle. They will take another year or two to come back. And by the time they come back, Arsenal will be at another level. So, these awards could be dominated by Arsenal, like in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, right? And we've already started dominating them. Odegaard winning player of the year in those awards, like I said, and Mikel Arteta winning manager of the year as well. Much of this discussion we had in the Arsenal morning drive. Of course, many of you telling me that the best player in the Premier League right now is Martin Odegaard. If you believe so, let me know in the comment box below, right? Let me know in the comment box below if you believe that Arsenal's Martin Odegaard, Arsenal's captain, is the best player in the Premier League right now. Okay, but what actually caught my eye in those awards were the words of Edu, the sporting director at Arsenal. Of course, he was there. He was very, very smart. And he was asked about a couple of questions, about a couple of topics, whether Arsenal could win the title this season. And he was also asked whether there is a huge long-term plan for Arsenal to win trophies, whether it is not just Arsenal winning trophies this season, right? And then we fall off, but whether there is that kind of long-term plan for us to win trophies. And also, he was asked about what is going to happen in the summer. Now that Arsenal have established themselves as a huge club, now that we've established ourselves as one of the biggest clubs now in Europe, in the Premier League as well, what is going to happen for the summer? We're going to be diving into Eddie's comments, and also we will be having the discussion, which is the trophy Arsenal must win in the next 6 years, okay? Which is the trophy Arsenal must win in the next 6 years? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions right in there, right? So Eddie was asked whether Arsenal can win the Premier League this season. And he said, look, we are taking it week after week, game after game. We don't want to rush into it. We don't want to rush into the future. We are taking it slowly by slowly. We are very happy with what we have already done. And we are focusing on the next game. I think those are the very words that Mikel Arteta uses. Those are the very words that all the Arsenal players, including Odegaard, Saka. Actually, if you interview an Arsenal insider, from the players to the manager to Edu now as well, I think, and Vina as well, they always tell you the same thing. We are very happy with where we are right now, and we are trying to go game by game, week by week, to see that we can actually get to the levels where we want to be. Now, this is what he said, right? This is what he said. I think we are playing well. We are in the right place in terms of playing well. Of course, the performance of the team and the way we are playing is very, very special. I see around us, everybody wants to follow us. Everybody wants to watch us. I receive a lot of messages from Brazil and South America and different places, which is very, very nice to receive. It says, we are very excited with where we are at the moment, but we want to understand that there is still a journey to go, still things to do. Of course, we are happy to be in the moment we are in now, but we have to understand there is things to keep doing and keep going on as well. Okay, so that is Edu on whether we are going to win the Premier League. We are happy in the moment. Of course, every Arsenal personnel right now is happy in the moment. I am happy. I'm really, really happy that we are on top of the table, 5 points clear with 11 games to go. Someone say 12 games to go. It's 11 games to go. Okay, 11 games to go. And I'm telling you, this weekend, if Arsenal win, we could be 8 points clear of Manchester City. City will have a game in hand, which will actually not be a problem for us. But imagine having 8 points clear of Manchester City. It means that all we've got to do is get out of April with 8 points clear on top of the table. If Arsenal get out of April, 8 of 5 points clear on top of the table, it will be a very, very different story, right? It will be a very different story. So Edu says that right at the moment, we know the things that we have got to keep doing, and we know that we need to keep going, right? I love the mentality, to be honest. I really, really love the mentality. And I think I need to do an apology video to Edu. I need to do an apology video to Edu because I was one of those people who said Edu is incompetent. I'm one of those people who said Edu is not good enough for the job, and I didn't understand the project that was actually trying to build with Mikel Arteta right away. All right, as so many Arsenal fans, especially when we didn't sign James Maddison, especially when we didn't sign House Emowa, everyone said Edu is incompetent. I don't think he's incompetent. I think he's a principled guy that has the do's and don'ts on his list, clearly in black and white. If he says we are going to sign a player for 90 million, and that player is not worth 90 million, and they assess and the player is not worth 90 million, they will not sign him. It's the same thing that happened in January with Mikhail Modric. Edu has become one of the best sporting directors in world football. I'm telling you, PSG right now have one of the best sporting directors in football. But I think they could, if you give them Edu right now, they would take him. Chelsea, with the kind of nonsense they're doing every single week in the transfer window, they will take him. Man United, of course, Man United are trash in terms of signing players. They will take him. I think every team would take him right now. Every single team would take him. Okay, so he says that the team knows that we want to win, and we've got to keep doing those very, very good things. Okay, that's Edu and what he thinks about Arsenal winning the Premier League this campaign. Now, he was also asked whether we can continue winning after this season, whether this is not going to be a one-season wonder, okay, and whether we're going to continue winning. And then he was also asked about the transfer market. So this is what the question was. He was asked by Football.London that although Arsenal pushing for the first for the title in nearly 20 years, it's clear that their project is far from over. The summer promises exciting acquisitions as the Gunners seek to create a squad capable of challenging in both the Premier League and the Champions League, right? With West Ham's Declan Rice understood to be among the top targets. With this in mind, Edu admits he has already started to lay groundwork for the summer, right? This is what he says, right? With a deal on Declan Rice. He says it's already started because you know what's happening in the market. Everybody is doing stuff. The Brazilian said of Arsenal's preparation for the summer, you have to plan with people as well. You have to plan with people as well, just to be prepared, so that when you go again in the summer, you are very, very prepared. And he says for now, though the primary ambition is winning a first Premier League title since 2004. All right, that is what he said. On Declan Rice and the summer, this is very interesting. It says we are laying groundwork, and it says what happens in the summer is everyone is doing stuff. Every team is doing stuff. So we are doing stuff. This is very different. I'm watching a very different Arsenal from the Arsenal I was watching 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This is a very different Arsenal. The Arsenal we watched in the summer, we watched 6 years ago, 7 years ago, was the Arsenal that could go in the market with a primary target as Karim Benzema. You remember, Arsene Wenger. And come out of that transfer market, out of that same transfer market with one signing, and that is Petr Cech. The Arsenal we were watching 7 years ago wanted Gonzalo Higuain as a primary target. And guess who we came out with? We came out with Chambers, Rob Holding in that transfer market. This is a very, very different Arsenal. Now, I'm going to say this, right? I don't think people at Arsenal don't believe they're going to win the title. I think when I look at Mikel Arteta and when I see his press conferences, when I look at these players, the energy, the passion, and the fear to make mistakes that they have right now, they believe the title is there for the taking. They know that this is the golden, most opportune moment for Arsenal to go and win the Premier League, right? Whether we will do it or not do it, that is another different kind of question. But right now, every single person at Arsenal believes. There is a lot of belief, right? I think it's only Alexander Zinchenko who's come out and said, yes, we want to win the title. And I told the boys that we have to go for the title. And now everyone believes, okay? Right? And I think the mentality right now for me, with 11 games to go, I think 11 games to go, 6 of those will be at the Emirates. We'll take on Leeds at the Emirates, Crystal Palace at the Emirates, Chelsea at the Emirates. We'll take on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates as well. There's a 4. There should be 6 fixtures at the Emirates. Brighton at the Emirates Stadium. Um, okay, yeah, I think they're round five, right? I think they're round five fixtures at the Emirates, and then the rest of the six are away. It could be right. It could be. I don't know. Oh, and Southampton, sorry, and Southampton at the Emirates. So we have six fixtures. We have six fixtures at the Emirates, and in those six fixtures, we have one member of the top 10. Oh, not top 10, but one member of the big six, and that is Chelsea. And Chelsea are very, very beatable. So for me, the mindset right now, and what we should be telling people out there is we are willing to go all the way. Okay. Because for me, I think we can win all six games at home. I think we can. I'm not saying it's a must, but I'm saying we can. Okay. If you win six out of six, those are 18 points already. Then you have an extra 15 points to fight with the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, Newcastle. I think a few other clubs that would play away from home, and West Ham. Probably, right? So for me, Edu, Mikel Arteta now, if they've been thinking of top two, the target now must be the title, right? I've had their interviews. I know what they're hiding. They're hiding it from the press. They don't want to overexcite the fans, right? They want to give it to us as a present for this project, and I'm really, really happy with that. But the mindset should be going for the title. Now, I just want to complete Edu's interview, because he said every day we train, prepare in the best way possible, and I think in the best way possible we win games. He says you don't think about anything, just the next game, how we can improve ourselves, how we can be better individually as a squad as well. Then come at the end of the season, we will see where we are gonna be. So our intention is really to live week by week, game by game, enjoy games, and try to be the best version possible of for the season. My scare about this mentality is it is not sustainable. That is my only scare about this mentality. We want to go in every week, every single week, to do as much as we can. That's a very, very good mentality. But is it sustainable? Is it a kind of mentality that saves you when the pressure for the title kicks in, right? Because we are fighting against Manchester City, who everyone has said they will win it when it matters. When it matters is the next 10 games, okay? That is when it matters. And Manchester City last campaign lost, I think they drew one game in their last 10 games, didn't they? That was a 2-2 against West Ham, wasn't it? Yeah, a 2-2 against West Ham. Jared Bowen scoring twice before Manchester City could come back and equalize, okay? So we are fighting a team that knows what it means to go into the last 10 games with an opponent as quality as Liverpool were last campaign, breathing down your neck, right? So for me, the mentality should go away from living game by game, week by week, to going, if we can win all the fixtures at home, because we are in a title race, right? That is the message. We are in a title race. If we can win all the fixtures at home and pick up three wins, which would include Manchester City, away, the title is ours. As simple as that. Because if you beat Manchester City right now, we are 8 points clear. Okay, that means that we can drop 2 games and still win the title, right? But I love the mentality. I love the work that Ed has done at this Arsenal side. Purely fabulous. He's been so good. He's been very, very good. From clearing out the deadwood and all those players that you thought maybe should have stayed, the likes of Matteo Guendouzi, the likes of Mesut Ozil. He's cleared them all out from Mikel Arteta, and he's brought in that kind of regime that no one expected Arsenal to actually do this, right? I thought we would bring in players like Maddison, players like Ruben Neves, but we've gone with the raw material, raw players, raw talent, and they've actually worked out very, very well. So, Edu, those were his comments on the awards, okay? I want to know, how would you rate Edu's work out of 10? The work is done at Arsenal so far. Is it 10 out of 10? I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I think his sailing has been a little bit questionable. Okay. Negotiations, maybe not the strongest guy in negotiations, but you understand why he's not willing to go all the way in negotiations. He's already told us that if I have the opportunity to walk away, I will walk away. I'll tell you a simple story, right? I'll tell you a simple story. So when he was a newbie, when he was just hired at Arsenal, he went in to sign a Borussia Dortmund player, and the player is not named. Okay, so when he went in to sign a player for Arsenal from Borussia Dortmund, he reached out Dortmund, agreed terms with Borussia Dortmund, and then he talked to the player. He went to talk to the player. The player actually told him he doesn't care about Arsenal's project as long as they're willing to pay him the money that he wants. And Edu walked away. Now, listen, I do not know which Borussia Dortmund player that was. It could have been Julian Brandt. It could have been Jude Bellingham. It could have been I don't know. It could have been Erling Haaland. I don't know, right? I don't know. But what I know is that he walked away from conversations, from negotiations with that player. If you know the player, let me know in the comment box below. Some of you do some investigative journalists already, right? But he walked away. And in his interview, he said, we want players that will align with the vision of this club. We want players that understand what we want as a club. We want players that want to be here. We want players that understand the basics of what we're trying to build. They'll trust in the process. They will be patient, and they will give their whole to the team. Not players who are here for the money. And that is a very huge difference from the Arsenal we are watching now, from the Arsenal of mercenaries. Aubameyang was a mercenary, to be honest. Ozil was a mercenary, to be honest. Sid Kolasinac was a mercenary. David Luiz from Chelsea was a mercenary. Willian, I think he was a mercenary. He was sent by Edu, but he was a mercenary, wasn't he? Socrates Papadopoulos was a mercenary. All those were mercenaries that just came in for the money. If you told them, go to your boyhood club or sign for Arsenal, they would choose their boyhood club every single day. All right. But most of the players we have here are not even English. Most of the players we have here, their favorite club is not even Arsenal. But the moment you show interest in the process that we're trying to build, in the team that we're trying to build, that is where Edu is most excited, all right? And I think he's really, really done a very, very great job. But I want to say this to him. Congratulations for the awards, Odegaard, Saka, Ramsdale, and Mikel Arteta. And I think we will win the league, okay? I think we will win the league. This is week number 8 of me saying that Arsenal will win the league, right? And even if we are going into that difficult period where it's easy to drop, 2 games and we are off, I think where we will win the league is at the Etihad, right? It's going to be at the Etihad. Arsenal will go at the Etihad in the second last game of our April schedule, and we will pick up a point. I've predicted that. We will go there. We will pick up a point or 3, and that is where the title race will be decided. I'm excited, all right? So that is part 1 of the Total Access Show. We've been talking Edu, his comments, what he thinks about Arsenal challenging and for the future. And part 2, we're going to be talking about the favorite title you want Arsenal to win. That is what we're going to be talking about in this part of the show. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you ate for dinner as well. Like I said, the energy comes from the fact that I've eaten chicken this evening. So you can let me know where you are watching from and what exactly is your evening like. Are you coming back from work? Are you back from work? Are you at home? Are you still at work and you're watching Cossy's Arsenal podcast? I would love to know and get your thoughts right in there, right? Big up to everyone actually in the chat. I really appreciate the love and the support as well, right? Okay, let's see. Kevin says we want to win the APL. Null says facts. Right. Okay. Me, I can tell you that if that defense of Saliba, Magalhaes, Ben White, that is on and off with UN unavoidable circumstances, it's difficult to score more goals without conceding. Or conceiving, actually. Watching it from New York, says Olumuyiwa. Big up to in the chat as well. JB ranks Edu at 7 out of 10. Michael says hearts there in the chat. Israel says, Cossy, in my opinion, I think we already have one hand on the EPL trophy. Manchester City can't go with that run of 10 wins in a row. We know that, and we know them to me. I believe they will still drop up to 6 points. All right. Liverpool will beat City 2 weeks time, says Omar. Laban says we need to beat Manchester City, Liverpool, and Brighton. Noel says we also have Forest is away. It's at the City Park, City Stadium. It's away. Lucky says at what cost Arsenal is winning the Premier League. All right, okay. We are winning the Premier League at whatever cost. Israel says, pick up my man, Cossy. Always enjoy your updates. Laban says, Cossy, we still have difficult fixtures. We need to play and be more consistent. Herbert says, let us go for Manchester City. Beat them honestly. We reduce the pressure we have at Anfield. Actually, we will go at the Anfield before we play Manchester City. Okay. Gabriel says Gabriel is in Nigeria. Herbert says talk of Ruud van Nistelrooy ended up in Manu. All right. And then Herbert says Arsenal deserves the title. Gabriel says hi. Hi, Gabriel. John says, Cossy, which country do you come from? I am a Ugandan. I'm a Ugandan too as well. Eric says, but we should sign, but he should sign for me. My man Victor Osimhen, says Eric. Nicola says, hi, Cossy. Following you from Uganda and Mbarara. Love you so much, guys, in Mbarara. I think I'll be there. I'll get some time to and travel to Mbarara and just have a chat with you, lads. Elvin says, I'm watching it from Namibia. I believe we're going to win the Premier League title this season. And, okay. Olmunyua says that City will drop more points as well. Okay. So let's get to that part of the show where we are going to be talking about favorite Premier League favorite titles. Okay, this is the Arsenal Total Access Show. It comes your way every single day, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. East African Standard Time. If you're in the UK, this show comes at exactly 6 p.m. That is UK time, and of course, other different variations in time do matter as well. All right, but every single day at this point in time, just tune in. We will be always live, unless there is football. Okay, so let's get into it. In the next 6 years, I think we will be dominating football. In the next 6 years, I think Arsenal will be one of the dominant clubs in Europe. Now, we've seen this with Manchester City. City have won 5 of the last 6 Premier League titles, and Liverpool have won 1. The rest have gone to Manchester City, right? And I'm looking at this Manchester City side. I don't think they're dropping off, but they're not the same team. This season, they're still very strong. They have replaced players very, very well. But think about it. Kevin De Bruyne is now 31. Ike Gundogan is older than Kevin De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva wants to leave. Players like Laporte will be leaving. And this squad is going to be cleaned out. Now, Manchester City, with no doubt, have the resources and they've got the minerals to sign each and every player they want. Okay, they can bring in Ekavica Kvaratskhelia, they could bring in Jude Bellingham, they could sign Vinicius Junior, they could get Aurelien Tchouameni. They have the minerals to sign players, even players from Arsenal. I believe Pep Guardiola can come in and say, I want Martin Odegaard, and he takes him. Or I want, Bukayo Saka, and he takes him. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think they've got the minerals to do that. But what I think of this Premier League, what I think about this Arsenal side is we are the most organized in the Premier League, and we are one of the most organized teams in Europe right now. Why I don't fancy Napoli to be at the top level for years and years and years is simply, I think Napoli will sell so many players from their starting 11. I think Osimhen will leave. I think Kvaratskhelia will leave. I think Zombongisa will leave as well. And I won't be very surprised as well if they lose players like Kim, the centre back, and many of the players that make them are making them great. Why? Because the finances of clubs in Italy do not permit you to have a consistent squad worth of such value for years and years and years. Look at Inter Milan. When Inter won the Scudetto, they sold Hakimi, their best right back, and they sold Romelu Lukaku, one of the, by then, one of the informed strikers by then, from the team. And they were never the same again. They were never the same again. Last season, Milan won it. This season, Napoli are going to win it with a difference of about 20 points. So if Napoli drop off, Milan, of course, have dropped off. Inter Milan, I don't think they will get back to that level yet, very, very soon. Okay. The likes of Bayern, of course, are doing very well, trying to compete on every single day, on a daily basis. Although they don't have oil money, but they literally buy any talents in the German Bundesliga. The likes of Real Madrid are also around there. They're not the Madrids of Messi, Ozil, Di Maria, Ronaldo, Benzema. That Madrid is gone. The Barcelona of Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, that is gone as well. So I think we are the most organized team when it comes to teams that are waiting to dominate football. We are the most organized. We have the youngest squad. Maybe Napoli could have a younger squad. I'm not sure. Maybe Barca could have a younger squad as well. I'm not really sure. But when I compare Barcelona this season and I compare Arsenal this season, we have a brighter future than Barca. We have a brighter future than Napoli. We have a brighter future than Inter Milan. We have a brighter future than Man United. We have a brighter future than any of those clubs. Okay. So for me, the next 6 years, our focus should be doing what Pep Guardiola has failed to do in a decade. He's not won the Champions League at Bayern. He crossed over to Manchester City. He was given even better resources, and up to now, he's not won it. I want Arsenal to go for the UEFA Champions League. I want to see Arsenal dominating Europe, even if it's not at the levels of Manchester City, like winning 5 out of 6 Premier League titles. But I want us to see. I want to see an Arsenal that gets to the level where Liverpool have been. Everyone should be scared of us. Everyone should be frightened of Arsenal. Everyone should think that. I want to see Arsenal beating Manchester United 5 goals to nil in the first leg, 5 goals to nil in the second leg. I want to see an Arsenal that goes to the Allianz Arena and wins there 3 goals to nil. We come at the Emirates Stadium and win 3 goals to nil as well. Because for me, it's all about getting our respect back in Europe. Right? I'll take a UEFA Champions League title all day, every day over a Premier League. Come on, we have the Premier League. We have a record that no one has. We have won the Premier League without losing a single game. So Alexander Chairman Ferguson tried to do that. He failed at it. He failed terribly. He terribly failed at that, right? So my priority and the trophy that I want Arsenal to win in the next 6 years, badly, right? And this should be put in bold. I want Arsenal to badly dominate football. That's number one. But I want us to badly win the UEFA Champions League. And when we win the UEFA Champions League, I want us to win the Super Cup, right? The UEFA Super Cup, the one that is played between the Europa League winners and the Champions League winners. And I also want Arsenal to win the Club World Cup. Those are the trophies that I want in our trophy cabinet. It will be so embarrassing, and it nearly happened. It nearly happened. Tottenham Hotspur have played a final of the UEFA Champions League in the last decade. Spurs have played a final of the UEFA Champions League in the last decade. Arsenal have not. We last played a final in 2005, 2006. And what is actually more worrying is that Chelsea have won 100% of the last 2 finals they have played in. Haven't they? Because they lost to Manchester United, then they beat Bayern, then they beat Manchester City. So it is now our time. I want Arsenal to take this opportunity. I want us to go with the likes of Odegaard, Ben White, Saliba, Saka, and go bold and win the UEFA Champions League. It is not that hard, guys. It is not that hard. I've had people say that UEFA Champions League is the epitome of football. I think it is the epitome of football, to be honest, at club level. But it is not as hard. If Madrid can win it and win it and win it and win it, Arsenal can as well. Arsenal can as well. But this is what I think is going to happen, and this is what Edwin and Mikelata are trying to do. I think we're trying to build a formidable team that, because our average age is 23. So most of our players are between 23 to 24. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Those are 7 years. If Arsenal do good business, that is, bringing in extra players, the likes of Declan Rice, the likes of maybe you could sign a Victor Osimhen, maybe Karo Mitoma. If we do very good work with this squad, rehabilitate it, even if we sell some players, I don't have a problem with waking up one day and Odegaard is gone. Like, to facilitate the process, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, so if we do very good work with this team, the next 7 years should see Arsenal dominate football. And that is the joy that I want to see. I wasn't there, right? I wasn't there when Arsene Wenger's Arsenal gave headache and goosebumps to everyone. The football we played between 2006 and 2010, or even 2013, was very, very good football. The football was good. We could sign the likes of Samuel Nasri. We could sign the likes of Alexander Chamberlain. We could sign very, very good players. Okay, but we didn't dominate football, right? We didn't dominate football. We tried to win the league. I think that was in 2008, before Eduardo picked up an injury, and that's where we fell off. But that was far away. That's 15 years ago. I want it now. I want this season. I want to see Arsenal fighting for everything. I want to see Arsenal to, going to Champions finals, fighting for every silverware there is to win. I want us to go and win it. I don't know. Manchester City have like 6 Carabao Cup, trophies. They have like, do they have like 6 Carabao Cup trophies? I think like they have like 6. So I want us to be like Manchester City, like have that winning mentality, have the monster mentality, go in and win each and everything, starting with the UEFA Champions League. Okay, so this is the section where you give me your thoughts in the comment box below. Do you think Arsenal should win the Premier League first, or should we win the UEFA Champions League first? Which is actually better and which is more valuable to Arsenal? We don't have the UEFA Champions League, but we do have the Premier League 3 times under Arsene Wenger, right? Is it high time for this squad to go? Next half a decade, we must have a Champions League trophy. And in the next 7 years, we should have 2 Champions League trophies, okay? Look, the markets are going bold, and I'm going to say this, right? I think markets going bold, players becoming very expensive, that works in favor of clubs like Arsenal, because we have the ability to spot talent and buy it at a cheaper price. Odegaard, 30 million. Right now, that boy is worth 100 million. To be honest, he's worth 100 million. Saka is worth 100 million. Martinelli, maybe 50 to 60 million. Gabriel Jesus is worth like 80 million now. Trossard, worth like 70 million. So if you can get those good talents and elevate them, train them, nurture them, and make them top winners, right? By the time clubs like Real Madrid replace Benzema, because Madrid and their system and their what they're trying to do is they're trying to go for these young players, very, very young, like Vinicius, they're like the likes of Endrick, right? That's not what Arsenal are trying to do. We're trying to sign 23 to 26, right? So that means that we could develop faster than Real Madrid. So by the time Madrid get a full squad, replace Toni Kroos 1 season, replace Luka Modric another summer, By the time they replace a whole squad, we've won the Champions League. By the time that squad gets together and starts playing good football, we've won another Champions League. By the time they get a good manager to work with the squad, we've won a third Champions League. So for me, I'm happy that the market is going bold. Arsenal will never be able to buy Osimhen. Arsenal will never be able to buy Jude Bellingham. Why? We don't have the cash. And we don't spend like that, right? It's two-way. We might have the cash because we are back in UCL and we want to go for the statement signings. And we'll talk about tomorrow in the Total Access show. Arsenal wants statement signings and our transfer work has already been laid down, says Edu. We'll talk about that in the Total Access show same time tomorrow, right? 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. But if Arsenal, gets away, if we pull ourselves out of those, transfer battles, sign our young players, sign our, cheap players with a lot of quality, don't sell them. I think this is where we will dominate football, right? Borussia Dortmund should have a UEFA Champions League final in the last 10 years. Look at the players they've sold. Aubameyang sold. Lewandowski to Bayern sold. Mario Götze sold. Ike Gundogan sold. Right? Haaland sold. You think about if you put those players together, Manuel Akanji sold. If you put those players together, Dortmund would be a despicable, disgusting quality side. So for me, the difference between Arsenal and Dortmund is that we are bigger, we have a bigger fan base, we have more money, and we generate chunks and chunks of revenue. Okay, so if we can do that every single summer, bring in revenue, sign one or two quality players who are around 50, 60 million each. That's 100 billion. That means that we don't have to sell. We are self-sustaining as a project. We will dominate football. We will do what the likes of Benfica have failed to do, because Benfica as well have had some very good players, but they've all sold them. Joao Felix sold. David Nunes sold. Enzo Fernandez sold. Which other good players have they had at Benfica? And they've literally sold. I think the centre back at Manchester City, is it Diaz? Is he also called Diaz? As well, sold as well. So literally, the difference between the project at Benfica, Ajax, and Dortmund, and then Arsenal is that for us, we will be using our talents to develop them and win. For them, they will be using their talents to develop them and earn money. And of course, you don't blame those clubs because they are not in the Premier League, okay? They're not in the Premier League. For us, we are in the Premier League where the prize pool is a lot of money. If Arsenal win the title, they could get up to 100 million. That is a whole transfer summer sorted. Then we get to the UEFA Champions League, more money. We win the Europa League, probably more money. We maybe we sell some players, the likes of Lokonga, more money. Arsenal by the end of this year could generate about 300 to 400 million. I'm not saying you have season tickets, you have match day revenue, you have TV rights. There's a lot of money for Arsenal to harvest. So we are not under any pressure to sell. We are under pressure to win. And that's why I think we are in a much better situation and a much better position than all these other clubs. So for me, there is no excuse. Next 7 years, Edu, next seven years, Mikel Arteta, and the captain Martin Odegaard, I want the UEFA Champions League. I want the UEFA Champions League. It's the biggest trophy you can ever win. And it looks like automatic. Whoever wins the UEFA Champions League in Europe also wins the Club World Cup. As simple as that. Just imagine if we win the UEFA Champions League, then we play in the Club World Cup and win that, okay, and win the Super Cup. Chelsea will never say we are the biggest club in London. Of course, they would say, oh, you have one, we have two. That's not a big deal, is it? That's not actually a big deal because we have a bigger history than they have. And in the next 7 years, we could actually win more Premier League titles than them. Okay, so if you ask me which is my favorite title that I think Arsenal should win, it is the UEFA Champions League. But I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts in this one. Which is your favorite Premier League? Which is your favorite trophy that Arsenal must win? And says, I'm seeing Arsenal dominating Europe very, very soon if we continue to buy. I think we will continue to buy. I think we will continue to invest money in this squad. I don't see any reason why Edu and Mikel Arteta would go, we are not investing in the team anymore. There is no reason. The revenues in the Premier League are crazy. Like every single team would like to play in the Premier League. Every single team. I still remember a joke by Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president at Napoli. He was talking about um, shifting Napoli from the Italian Serie A, from Naples to the Premier League. Can you believe that? Right. I think he was joking, but you never know. So we will continue investing in this squad. Agben Andrew says, please, Cossy, kindly address this issue I raised earlier. I lived in the UNSS and I always miss your live shows. Where are you broadcasting from? East Africa. East Africa. Now, I'm not well conversant with your time in the US, but it is East African Standard Time, right? If you can match that in your calendar, you'll definitely catch us live, right? It is East African Standard Time. Okay, let's get this. Mujib says Trossard should be more should be given more playing time. I can see the guy living up to his billing. The guy is a revelation of a signing. I think Trossard is a player that was always gonna work out. I think Trossard is a player who was always going to work out. He's a very, very nice lad. He's a very, very good footballer. I've looked at some of these clips at Brighton when we were signing him, and in my head, I was like, maybe it's just old, but the football is there, right? Actually, it's not old. It's just, mature. And actually, with Trossard, he's at that age where players play their best football. That is it. You look at Kevin De Bruyne, what he has done at 29, 28, 27, 26. That is where players play their best football. Should he get more playing time? I think he deserves it, right? I think he deserves it. But the question, and I asked you this one, is who do you drop? Who do we drop to play Leandro Trossard? To give him more game time, which player do we drop in this Arsenal team? I mean, if you answer that, we are good to go, right? Andrew, thank you so much for the comment as well. All right, let's see. Eric says, I'm having a dream of playing with Arsenal in my life. I mean, keep on dreaming and work on it as well. Musa says, I want Arsenal to dominate Europe. I want to see Arsenal dominating all those clubs that were, hammering us 5-0. Do you know Bayern beat us 10 goals to nil on aggregate? 10 goals to nil. It still hurts me. We lost to those scumbags 10 goals to nil. It hurts me. But I pray that we can get to that level as well. I really, really do. Okay. And it says, good evening, Cossy, every and all the Gunners here. Lucky says, Lucky Eddie, Ed Matoke and Pork. Okay, that's a nice one. Ebo says, hi, coaches, let's win both the Premier League and Europa League. This momentum to our director to put money when it comes to the market. I think Arsenal are willing to invest. We've learned from the past mistakes, and the Cronkies are very smart scumbags, okay? They've learned from their past mistakes. They've looked at where things have been going, and they've gone, the problem at this club is not spending enough money. That has been Arsenal's problem. Yes, we've been mismanaged as well, but the problem has been not spending enough money. The moment they've started spending money, everything has actually become better. And that's why the Cronkies will never give us an excuse, never in their lives, that they were right. They were never right. Right from day one, who buys a club and doesn't invest a single coin for like 5 years? Look at what Tony Bolly has done at Chelsea. Brilliant spending. Like, I think the spending is stupid, but as a Chelsea fan, if there is a Chelsea fan out there, I know they're very, very happy. They're so happy, right? So for me, that is the test. Can the Cronkies now continue backing and backing and backing? Because clubs like Real Madrid, what has kept them at the highest level is buying and buying and buying. Tony Cruz from Bayern, Luka Modric from Tottenham, Benzema from Lyon, Gonzalo Higuain from wherever he came from, Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United, Kaka from AC Milan. They keep on buying and buying and buying. So if you're going to climb up a tree in terms of you know, getting up the levels, that's very easy. But this to sustain the levels, to sustain the demands, you've got to keep on spending. And if they don't spend, it will eat them. It will eventually eat them. They'll fall out. They'll fall off the tray, and will be cranky out very, very soon. But if they keep on, if they keep on spending the right amounts of money, I'm telling you this, I wouldn't really have a problem with them, and I don't have a problem with them right now. I actually don't. Okay, Eric says, help me, and you connect me to Ateta. I want to play for Arsenal. I am a midfielder. I think it's more through academies, right? Eric, hit me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Cossy Arsenal, right? Hit me on Twitter. We can talk about the Arsenal festival that is coming up very soon in Uganda. You could grab an opportunity to join one of the academies, and you could be all right. Okay. So follow me on Twitter. And guys, if you're watching this show and all the shows on Cossy Arsenal podcast, I'm trying to rebrand the channel, trying to create those interesting shows for you. I hope you love them. Follow me on Twitter because that's where I break every story, right? Follow me on Twitter. It is Cossy Arsenal. Just follow me on Twitter, right? Watching in from Entebbe says like Eddie. Daniel says hi, Cossy from Kenya. Good job, Cossy. I want us to win the Premier League. Okay. Look, it looks like to you, most of you, the Premier League is the real deal. The Premier League is the deal for you. The Premier League is the deal breaker for you. And I, to be honest, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. If any one of you wants us to win the Premier League, it's a nice trophy, isn't it? Like, it's a very, very good. It's a huge trophy. But for me, the Champions League, we don't have it. Harrington says Arsenal should also sign one forward who plays across. I did get that. Who plays across? Maybe a player who plays everywhere. I didn't get that. Laban says, "Cossy, this time we're gonna play the best football. Gabi and Trossard are going to cause many teams problems this time." All right. And to message says, "I think the coach has a headache of lineup, but he can handle it well because is the general manager. But our boys are all very, very good." Okay. And then Harrington says Arsenal should strengthen the position of Partey and Xhaka in the summer. We'll have a show on that very, very soon. Harrington says Arsenal is the best in Europe for now. In terms of interesting football, I would say Napoli play the best football. But because we play in the Premier League, I can argue with you. I can put Arsenal slightly above Napoli, slightly. Right, thank you so much for watching. This is the Arsenal Total Access Show. It comes your way on your screens on YouTube from for every single day on Cossy Arsenal podcast, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. James says, Cossy, you're just fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Julius Bubu says we need Osimhen from Napoli. All right, I love Osimhen. I've told you guys. I've told you this before. I love Napoli. I think I love Osimhen. I think he's one of the reasons as to why Napoli are going to win the Scudetto this time. Okay, I really, really love him. But 100 million, Aurelio Dorilentes is not going to cut that price. He's not going to cut the price, I'm telling you. So I'll see you right in the next one tomorrow. We will be live from 11 a.m. to noon for the Arsenal morning drive. Make sure you watch me then. 11 a.m. to noon. I'll see you right there. Have a blessed evening. And I sign out from the Arsenal Total Access Show. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.